So good morning. Um, Today we will discuss Section 60 of Transfer of Property Act and Section 67 of Transfer of Property Act. Section 60 of Transfer of Property Act provides for right of mortgagor to redeem, which is also known as right of redemption. So before we go on to study what are the elements of this particular this provision, we have to understand what from which rule or principle this particular provision has been derived from. This right of mortgagor to redeem is derived from a principle, or you can say equity of redemption, which is further derived from a principle which is called once a mortgage is always a mortgage. So this equity of redemption uh, is nothing but a right of a mortgagor to redeem his property even after the principal money has become due. So why this particular equity of redemption was brought into picture? This particular principle was brought into picture to save the interests of mortgagor, because what used to happen in earlier days, that money lenders used to take advantage of the poor financial status or financial distress of the mortgagors and used to take over their property. In order to save the mortgagor from such takeover or hostile takeovers, chancery courts or courts of equity came up with equity of redemption. This equity of redemption allowed the mortgagors to redeem their property even after the principal money has become due. So for example, 1st May 2020 was the time when the mortgagor had to pay the money or loan money or mortgage money. However, he could not do so. So in that situation, the money lender now cannot take away my property because I have failed to pay him his loan back. Because why? Because there's a right of redemption and I can redeem my property at a later period as well. So now we shall go through this particular uh, provision and understand what does it say. It says at any time after the principal money has become due, the mortgagor has a right on payment or tender at a proper time and place of the mortgage money to require the mortgagee to deliver to the mortgagor the mortgage deed and all documents relating to the mortgage property which are in possession or power of the mortgagee. First thing. Second, where the mortgagee is in the possession of the mortgage property, which happens in the cases of usufructory mortgage, to deliver possession thereof to the mortgagor. And lastly, third, C, at the cost of the mortgagor either to retransfer the mortgage property, which happens in conditional sale, mortgage by conditional sale, to him or to such third person as he may direct or to execute, and where the mortgage has been effected by a registered instrument, to have registered an acknowledgement in writing that any right in derogation of his interest transferred to the mortgagee has been extinguished. So uh, we shall move further. Provided that right conferred by this section has not been extinguished by act of the parties or by a decree of a court, the right conferred by this section is called right to redeem, and a suit to enforce this is called a suit for redemption. Moving further, nothing in this section shall be deemed to render invalid any provision to the effect that if the time fixed for payment of the principal money has been allowed to pass or no such money has been fixed, the mortgagee shall be entitled to reasonable notice before payment or tender of such money. There's another part which is a proviso. We shall discuss the proviso at a later period of time. First, discuss this particular provision. So you, in section 58, you have gone through different types of mortgages. So this particular section basically tells you that mortgager has a right to redeem the property, and in whatsoever manner that mortgage was created. So we discussed at least 5 to 6 types of mortgages. It says when the principal money has become due and mortgager wants to pay the mortgage money at a proper time and place. So whatsoever manner the mortgage was created, the mortgagee has to return the property, title deeds, possession, etc., to the mortgager when he is willing to pay the mortgage money. Always remember this right of redemption. Why we are talking about right of redemption? Because in the beginning, when we were discussing section 58, under section 58, we discussed that only an interest or some interest in the property is mortgaged whenever a mortgage is created. Not all rights are transferred to the mortgagee. Since mortgager has the ownership or right of ownership over the property, therefore, by virtue of this particular right, he can also always redeem his property provided he pays the mortgage money, which includes principal money plus interests. So this particular right, which we discussed earlier, is based on equity of redemption. Equity of redemption is incorporated under section 60 of Transfer of Property Act. Since it becomes a part of the statute or law, it has become a statutory right or legal right. So therefore, this right of redemption cannot be taken away from anyone or mortgager by any other contract or by any other acts of the parties. So this right of redemption of mortgager is an absolute right which is available to the mortgager always. He can always redeem the property, obviously subject to limitation, etc. Now, one thing you should always remember, this right of redemption can always be exercised when the mortgage is subsisting. It means mortgage is actually in place. The moment mortgage closes or extinguished, then right of redemption cannot be exercised. So for that purpose, we have to understand there's something called foreclosure or sale. So right of redemption has to be exercised before foreclosure or sale. For example, A mortgage his property to B for a 5-year period, right? A 5-year period has passed. Now the mortgage money has become due. So A is supposed to pay or repay the loan to B mortgage money. Now, as we are discussing, that mortgage money can be, mortgage property can be redeemed any point of time after the principal money has become due. So after 5 years, this property can be redeemed at any point of time. However, if in this situation B goes to the court for selling of the property and the court passes such decree, in that situation, the mortgage is not subsisting. Mortgage has become extinguished. In that situation, right of redemption cannot be exercised. Therefore, before a decree of foreclosure or decree of sale is issued by the court, the mortgager has to exercise right of redemption when the money has become due, right? So therefore, the uh, mortgage must subsist for a right of redemption. There's another concept which is known as clog on redemption. Now, as you are aware, the meaning of clog is obstruction or the blockage. So whenever there's any condition in the mortgage money, or sorry, mortgage deed, which creates obstruction on redemption, those type of conditions or stipulations are void. For example, uh, if you put a condition on the mortgager that he will not be able to sell his property during the mortgage period, so that type of condition that he cannot sell his property during mortgage period, it would be considered as clog on redemption. Why? Because the mortgager can always redeem the property by paying mortgagee money or mortgage money. And since he is the owner of the property, he is therefore very much allowed to sell the property even if he has mortgaged the property to someone else. Similarly, putting a condition that there will be a punishment in case you are late in paying the mortgage money or the principal money. So punishment, that kind of conditions where you put a punishment for delay in paying the mortgage money is also considered as clog. Another clog example of clog would be that you say whenever you are late for paying of money, mortgage money, then the mortgage period gets renewed. So these type of examples are considered as clog on redemption. So any condition which restricts or prohibits the mortgagee to redeem his property, mortgager to redeem his property, are considered as clog. I'm repeating the same thing again. Any condition in the mortgage deed which prohibits or obstructs the right of redemption of mortgagor is considered as clog on redemption. And this clog or condition which becomes clog is void because it restricts the right of redemption. So I've just given you few minutes back some of the examples where you put restriction on the alienation, restriction on punishment, redemption by punishment, restriction on redemption by renewing the mortgage period in case of default. So these are the some of the conditions where which act as a clog, and clogs are always considered as void under right of redemption. So another question which arises, can long term of mortgage be considered as clog? For example, can 99 years time period for a mortgage property be considered as clog? So in case of say Gangadhar versus Shankar Lal, court held that a mortgage period of 85 years was not a clog on redemption. Therefore, it is usually understood that uh, time period till 99 years are usually not considered as clogs on redemption in India. However, there are certain cases where a mortgage period for 200 years were considered as uh, clog on the right of redemption. Moving further, uh, then there's the concept of uh, this part. Provided that right conferred by this section has not been extinguished by act of the parties or a decree of court. So this part tells you that right of redemption can be extinguished by the act of the parties or by a decree of the court. So what do we mean by the act of the parties? By the act of the parties is simply means that parties through a separate agreement has decided to sell or has decided to extinguish this right of redemption. And how it is extinguished? That you have to, the parties have entered into a separate agreement which is different from the mortgage deed, and they have decided, the mortgager had decided to sell this particular property to mortgagee. So this is, always remember, This right of redemption can be extinguished by act of the parties, provided that agreement must not be the part of mortgage deed. It has to be a separate agreement, because when it becomes a part of the mortgage deed, then it becomes a clog on the redemption. Therefore, it is always considered as, whenever parties want to extinguish right of redemption, it has to be done through a separate agreement, out of separate of mortgage deed, or by operation of law, which is by a decree of the court. So when court passes a decree of foreclosure or a decree of sale, in that situation, it becomes by operation extinguishment of right of redemption by operation of law, because it has been passed by a court. Moving further, right. Uh, Always remember, Order 34 rules, you have to understand, Order 34 Rule 7 of CPC provides the procedure how to file a suit for redemption of a property, a mortgaged property. So this Order 34 Rule 1 to 8 gives you rules or the procedure for filing both right of foreclosure as well as right of redemption. So this Order 34 Rule 1 to 8 is very important to understand the procedure which are involved in filing suit for redemption as well as suit for foreclosure. Right. Here we come to the limitation part. What is the period of limitation? So when you read Article 61 of the first schedule of Limitation Act 1963, though it is entry, but in legal term, it is called Article 61. When a mortgagor wants to redeem the property, the limitation period is 30 years. Similarly, when a mortgagee wants to go for foreclosure, the limitation period is 30 years. One thing which has to be kept in mind, this right of redemption is a right of mortgagor, right of foreclosure is a right of mortgagee, right? I hope this is limitation period is clear to all of you. Now the matter comes to the notice period. It says a mortgagee should be served with a reasonable notice before you exercise right of redemption. So in normal circumstances, a period of 3 months is the correct time, or the notice period should be served to mortgagee at least 3 months before or prior to 3 months. However, in case notice is not served, it does not bar right of redemption, but it gives mortgagee the right of 6 months of interests in lieu of 3 months of notice. So what is happening here? You have to serve mortgagee a 3 months notice before right of redemption. In case you fail to serve notice, it does not bar you from right of redemption, but it gives mortgagee right of 6 months of interest in the mortgaged property or the mortgage money. As simple as that. The last part, redemption of portion of the mortgaged property, is basically uh, talks about partial redemption. So what it is talking about is, it says nothing in the section shall entitle a person interested in a share only of the mortgage property to redeem his own share only on the payment of proportionate part of the amount remaining due to him on mortgage. Now what is it saying? So if to understand this, we have to understand this by an example. Okay, yeah, understand this by this particular. Okay. sorry. So A is the owner and he wants to sell the property to B, or he mortgages the property to B. Simple. Here, after he mortgaged the property to B, he sold his property to three different people. So one third goes to each of these people. So he sold one third to X, one third to Y, and one third to Z. So this provision is saying nothing in this section shall entitle a person interested in a share only of the mortgage property to redeem his own share only on the payment of proportionate part of amount remaining due to the mortgage. So it says if X wants to redeem his one third of the property by paying one third of the mortgage money to B, then he is not entitled to do so. So partial redemption is not allowed. Generally, partial redemption is not allowed. So again, what is partial redemption? A has mortgaged this whole property to B. After mortgaging his property to B, A sold his property to three different individuals, X, Y, and Z, each owning one third of the property. Now X wants to redeem his property. So he wants to pay one third of the mortgage money to B to redeem his one third portion of the property. However, this section says nothing in this section shall entitle the person interested in a share only of the mortgage property to redeem his own share only on the payment of proportionate part of amount remaining due to the mortgage. Right? So it simply bars him from redeeming his property. However, it provides you an exception. What is the exception? It says, except where the mortgagee, or if there are more than, or if there are more mortgagees, then one or such mortgagee has or have acquired in whole or in part the share of the mortgagor. So it says in case when B himself buys the one third of the property. So B is a mortgagee. The mortgagee himself buys one third the property. It means he himself owns the one third share of the property. Then in that situation, X and Y can redeem their property by paying one third amount to B. Right? I hope this is clear to you. Proviso says in normal circumstances, you cannot partially redeem the property. However, in that situations where the mortgagee himself become a shareholder in the property, in that situation, partial redemption is allowed. So limitation is clear, notice is clear, clause on redemption is clear, order 34 is clear of CPC, how to, if you want to understand the procedure for suit of redemption and foreclosure. Now, what is section 27 of Limitation Act? Why it is important here? So imagine a situation A and B entered into a mortgage for 2 years. The mortgage period was for 2 years. So after 2 years, the principal money has become due. So A has to repay B some amount, whatever the mortgage money was. However, after 2 years, we know that the right to redeem is for 30 years. A does not respond to this for 32 years, 1 month. Right? In that situation, according to section 27 of Limitation Act, A loses all his right in the property and his rights in the property become extinguished. So earlier he may be or he may have been the owner of the property. Since he has not paid even a single iota of money to B, even after the period of limitation period or right of redemption, he loses all his rights in the property, and his rights in the property become extinguished. This is it. I hope this part is clear to all of you. Now we shall move on to section 67. Right. Section 67 is again a very big section. I'm discussing only the part which is most relevant for the purpose of our study. So it says, in the absence of a contract to the contrary, the mortgagee has at any time after the mortgage money has become due to him and before a decree has been made for the redemption of the mortgage property, or the mortgage money has been paid or deposited as hereinafter provided, a right to obtain from court a decree that the mortgagor shall be absolutely debarred of his right to redeem the property, or a decree that the property be sold. A suit to obtain a decree that a mortgagor shall be absolutely debarred of his right to redeem the mortgage property is called suit for foreclosure. So foreclosure simply means withdrawing. So what technically you are withdrawing? Again, always remember, right to redemption is a right of the mortgagor. Right of foreclosure is a right of a mortgagee. So when the principal money has become due or the mortgage money has become due, okay, you can go for the exercise of suit of foreclosure. So what is foreclosure? Foreclosure is a suit to debar the mortgagor from the exercise of his right of redemption, right? So as I have told you, A and B had a mortgage for 2 years. After 2 years, the money has become due to B. Now B, after 2 years, can move to the court for the suit of foreclosure to bar A from exercising his right of redemption. Right? It is suit for foreclosure. That is how it is different. And now question arises, how it is different from sale? Because in foreclosure, as you would study under Order 34, Rule 1 to 8, there are two basically decrees which are passed by the courts. In the preliminary decree, the court gives a reasonable time period to the mortgagor to pay the mortgage money. In case mortgagor fails to pay the money, then in the final decree, court passes the suit or decree for foreclosure. So in that situation, A loses all his rights in the property and B becomes or has vests with all the rights in the property. So where earlier it was temporary conveyance or conditional conveyance, conditional conveyance became an absolute conveyance in foreclosure. So what is happening here? Since A failed to pay the mortgage money, B went for suit of foreclosure. After the decree of foreclosure in favor of B, B becomes the owner of the property in simple words, right? A loses all his rights in the property and B becomes the owners of those rights which were earlier vested in A, right? So B becomes the owner, A loses all his rights. So where the mortgage property was a conditional conveyance. Why we are saying conditional conveyance? Because if A prepaid the loan amount to B, then the B had to transfer the property to A. Now after the foreclosure, this conditional conveyance become absolute conveyance. It means B becomes the owner of the property. And now I hope this is clear to all of you. So therefore these two words are different, foreclosure or sale. In sale, you would study under section 68. Property is sold through courts. Money received from such selling of the property is used to set off the loan given by the mortgagee. So this is the basic difference between right foreclosure and sale, and this is how foreclosure and redemption are interrelated. So always remember, whosoever is going first to the court, either by foreclosure or redemption, has to ensure the other party does not get the chance to get the same thing. So, I mean, right of foreclosure or right of redemption. Uh, right of redemption or foreclosure is not available in a simple mortgage. Foreclosure is not available in simple mortgage. As you are aware, in usufructuary mortgage, since the possession is with the mortgagee and the income generated from the property is used uh, by the mortgagee, therefore there cannot be any sale or foreclosure. Similarly, in mortgage by conditional sale, the only remedy available is through foreclosure. In English mortgage, both types of remedies are available to the mortgagee, sale and foreclosure. And in title deeds, there is no foreclosure, only remedy available is through sale. So these are some of the remedies which are available to the mortgagee through various mortgages. So these are the basic differences or the overall idea of right of redemption and right of foreclosure. In both the situation, limitation period is 30 years. And always remember, you have to go through these sections, Order 34, Rule 128 and Section 27. I hope this is clear to all of you. With this, our uh, module 10 is complete. Now we shall move on to gift. Thank you.